Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday, and welcome to the Art of Inspired Selling. My name is Catherine Nunez, and I'm the host of the show where I scour the internet, primarily LinkedIn, to find successful B2B entrepreneurs that aren't just surviving, but they're thriving in this new normal, post-pandemic, I'm going to call it. So today I am bringing to you live a guest. Her name is Terri Levine, and we'll call her PhD, and we'll have her tell us a little bit more about that. But she's going to talk to us today about the importance of building community. And as you guys know, at the Social Selling Agency, I have a proprietary formula I use called the S-Cube method. And at the very end of that, in step 5, we talk about the importance of building offline relationships with your online connections and how important that is, because we're not here to provide just value and throw up in people's inboxes and online. We really want to build important connections with those people. It's not the number, actually, it's the quality of the relationships. So without further ado, I'm going to read the bio of Terri so we can find out a little bit more about her, and then we'll bring her on the show. So Terri Levine is the founder of Heart-repreneur and is a business marketing consultant who assists businesses worldwide with business growth, sales, and marketing. She has more than 40 years of business experience encompassing work with more than 6,000 business owners and entrepreneurs in a variety of industries. She is also a best-selling author of dozens of books, and we're going to talk today about a brand new book she has that came out and is on Amazon called Conversion Equation. She has her own radio and TV show and is also a keynote speaker. Terri has a passion for helping businesses to grow with her own personal experience gained while building multiple successful businesses from the ground up. Terri has created the Heart-repreneur cause, teaching business owners to do business heart to heart. Terri conducts training seminars, we're going to talk about those today, programs, helping entrepreneurs become more profitable and increase their bottom line. She is passionate about speaking to business owners and what tactics they can do to skyrocket their business. So Terri, we have people already joining us today. And also, don't forget everyone, I will activate our chat. The goal is to ask questions, bring those hard questions. I have an expert on here that can help you. Let's bring Terri on today.
Yeah, good to be there.
How are you?
I'm great. Happy to be with you and to create value. So yeah, let's do it.
Yes, and I want everyone to know that I might have some internet connection issues today. We're not sure how it's going to play out, so hold still with us. If I go in, we'll come right back on. Once again, let me get back to the chat. So Terri, tell me where you're coming live from today.
So right now I am in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I just got here. I was in what we call in New Jersey. I was at the shore, and I live in Mexico about 4 to 5 months out of the year as well.
Yeah, that's great. So yeah, I didn't say that, but today I'm sitting in San Miguel de Allende, which is a beautiful colonial town in the middle of Mexico. And one of my goals was to create my business so that I could be a digital nomad and work from anywhere in the world that I chose to. And that choice right now is Mexico, and I'm loving it. If you can see I have a sweater on, it's like been cold here. So one of the things that I ask all of my guests, Terri, is you have been successful time and time again, right? You have this formula, you have a repeatable process, but sometimes the coach, the consultant, the person with that mindset needs a little bit more inspiration, right? We get out of bed and we do it over and over again. What do you find internally, externally that helps you be able to show up with the best mindset to be able to guide your students and your clients through your proven systems?
Wow, that is a great opening question. So I use a process called GID. GID.
Okay.
G stands for gratitude. And before I put my feet on the ground in the morning, I wake up and I just start giving gratitude for anything and everything. And I mean even little things, right? You know, the fact that I have a comfortable bed and that I know that I'm going to be able to wear clothing and brush my teeth and all those little things.
Mm-hmm.
The I are intentions. And intentions are consciously, how do I choose to feel and experience my day? So today I said I'm going to have fun, I'm going to feel connection, and I'm going to laugh. So it's choosing my feelings and knowing what I'm choosing. And then the third thing, I really want to explain this one, GID. D is delegations, and I don't mean a to-do list. I don't mean an assistant. The things that I just don't know, how the heck is that going to happen? Like, oh, I have an unstable internet connection. I have to go live. I just turn that over to the universe, and that's my delegation. I'm like, hey, I can't figure that out. Can you help? So GID for me for about 20 years has kept me very grounded and very centered.
I love that because I do practice gratitudes. Sometimes I say, what are the 3 things I'm grateful for before my feet touch the floor, right? My children, I have a face still, my hair is still there, whatever it is, right? If it has to be small, I find something. But I love adding those other two acronyms on, because oftentimes we feel like we have to be in control of everything, right? Or I like to say that when we wake up, do you get on that hamster wheel of life without some type of intention? You just go. Right. And setting your intention, doing things intentionally, making your day happen with intention, and then delegating that out to not being emotionally attached to how it happens, but just know it's going to happen. Those are great. I'm going to write it on my I see I've already picked up some nuggets. Yay. That's great. So tell me a little bit about what you do, how people work with you, and then, as you know, this show is all about delivering value and teachable moments to the audience. So we won't spend a lot of time on a traditional podcast interview. It's all about the audience and what type of value we can deliver to them. And as you guys know, I have to have my notes because I can talk the best and make sure that we want to lay down as much value as possible. But let's start with, how do you have group coaching? Do you have one-on-one coaching, corporate, solo, business? Tell me about that.
Okay, so Heart-repreneur is an agency, a consulting agency, and we are all consultants and strategists, and we're also all coaches. So we bring a large skill set of consulting and strategy, and then if and when needed, we go into our coaching toolbox. So I have consultants that work in large corporations. I've worked with General Electric and large companies like that. I have consultants that do that. I don't do that anymore. My sweet spot right now that I just happen to love is I work with entrepreneurs. Okay. And they just need to be a service type business. 99% of my client family members do group work with me in my agency, and then I take a handful of people that work with me privately, and that's what we look like. And we love to do things like train teams and help leaders. So we're pretty diverse, Catherine.
Okay, that's exactly what I want to do when I grow up. Right?
It's fun. It's amazing.
Yeah, it'd be so wonderful to have that model. Okay, and so is there any upcoming groups that you want to promote and let the people know about so that they can maybe check them out when we're done? And I'll drop the link into the show notes now while you're telling me where they can go and what it's about and what the outcome is of the group training or whatever it is that you want to talk about.
Yeah, so I am doing a live training and Q&A, and that's called moderncoachingmethod.com, moderncoachingmethod.com. And I am literally going to show you, I built my coaching consulting business 27 years ago, 30 clients in 30 days, $500,000 the first year, $1 million the second, and we built from there. What I did is said, how would I rebuild it today? And I know I could do it bigger, faster, and easier because we didn't have all of these platforms like we have now. I spent months putting it together. It has templates and checklists and calendars, my exact emails, my exact letters, my worksheets, my workbooks. It's basically everything you ever need. And so it's moderncoachingmethod.com. And not only is it live, bring your questions. I'm going to teach and I'm going to coach and consult and help you.
That sounds great. And if you guys have any questions about it, drop it in, and Terri will take some time to answer that. So let's go straight to our point, which is building community. And I know I've had people ask that question of me, or even in some of the female entrepreneur groups that I frequent. And I tend to, one of my acquaintances has built a large community of people, and I've been listening to Russell Brunson's thought about building that community and giving the tribe a name and a mission and a why and something that they can grab onto. So let's talk about your interpretation of why community is important.
My whole business is built on community. The word Heart-repreneur, which is our brand and our trademark, stands for authenticity, transparency, and integrity. And we do business heart to heart, which basically is involving a community to grow our business. And to me, it's an easy and effective way to get a group of people together, to increase your brand awareness, to establish kind of a positive vibe about who you are, what you do. And the biggest thing is it allows you to have those meaningful connections and give back to those in need. So community to me is the key to growing a business, especially in today's market.
And so how are you establishing community online? Are you choosing what type of groups? I know that there's Slack groups now, and there's campfire groups, and there's LinkedIn groups, and there's Facebook groups, and there's all types of things. What have you chosen to be most successful?
So I decided to go where the audience is. And while there's so many different platforms, whether you like Facebook or don't like it, Facebook is where most of the audience is. And I love when somebody challenges me, goes, my audience isn't there. Give me 15 minutes, I'll find your audience. They are on Facebook. Facebook is used by more people than the other platforms, and Facebook users spend an average of 30 minutes a day there, whereas other platform users spend 3 minutes. So be in front of where they are. So what I did is I established a group using my brand. So it's a Facebook group called Heart-repreneurs with Terri Levine. And literally, we've used that group to give value and to create community. We've got, 6,300 people in there that now refer to themselves as Heart-repreneurs. And then I can go into, how we use that community and what we do, and people are free to model it because it works.
And so I want to back up just a tiny bit. And this is what I also coach on, is you really need to know not only where your target market is, because everyone today seems to be, at least in our space, right? Service-based entrepreneurs.
Yes.
They're on LinkedIn, they're on Facebook, they're on Instagram. When the Cheeto was in office, they were on Twitter as well, because I wanted to know what he was saying today. YouTube, because there's a video that's taking them off going wherever they go. So yes, everybody seems to be everywhere, but what is the best platform to use that's user-friendly for them, where they can actually engage the easiest for you or with you? So how do you determine that? Like, are there any tried and true methods where they can send a survey or tests? Are there certain things that you teach and recommend?
Yeah, so there's certain things that we consider, and the first is like Slack, Mighty Networks, whatever all these other things are.
I forgot about Mighty Networks.
Yeah, another one. There's so many. Is the average user is going to have to go off of where they already are to go to these platforms. So in my mind, and that's just Terri's mind, that doesn't make a lot of sense. I want to go to where my people are already sitting. So you have to know your audience. I know that my audience is not typically on Instagram, although I have a huge following on Instagram. That's actually not my exact audience. I know my audience is definitely not on Twitter, and I'm more of an activist on Twitter than I am using it for business.
Mm-hmm.
My audience is on LinkedIn. However, in LinkedIn groups, in my experience with my audience, have not been that all very engaging. Mm-hmm. So I recommend for all my client family members, where do you spend your time online, and is your audience there, and how do you know that? Well, you hunt for them. You look for groups that have that audience. Before you start your own group, you watch. Are there a lot of tribes like this? Are people really engaged in here? Do they need another one of these? Is this attracting people? And I can just tell you, with over 6,000 clients, we have found in almost every case, all but 3, Facebook has been the answer. Even though people kicked and screamed and fought me on Facebook, whatever your relationship with this Facebook, I got a love-hate one too. I just go where my audience is, and that's where they seem to be.
And I would call myself a target market for you. And that's where I prefer my groups to learn, or to, and there's different places I go as well now, like WhatsApp being in my secret, but Facebook is where I go to learn. Yes. LinkedIn is where I go to read.
Very similar. I do the same thing.
So let's talk about how you can authentically create a community.
So if you think about creating a community, it's natural for all of us. We all were taught to create relationships, right? We all grew up in some way, shape, or form. We went to school. We've had some kind of parenting. We've had friends. We've had family. That's relationships. And what's so interesting to me is when people go to create these communities and they say, well, how do I build relationships? I want you to do it the same way that you would do it.
Right.
Do it, right? You find out about people. So, hey, Catherine, what are you up to? What are you interested in? What's going on in your business, in your life? You take an interest in other people. And I do this by engaging with people on different Facebook posts and things like that, or over in LinkedIn, wherever it might be. And then if somebody feels like someone that would get value in my community, I do what you do in a relationship. I extend my hand and say, hey, I have a private exclusive group. It's really cool. I think you'd fit in. Would you like an invite? And I don't just drop the link. I literally just wait.
Yes.
So the lesson I want people to take away is you build online connections and community and offline connections the same way. Mm-hmm. Creating a friendship and opening a door. That's it.
And I have written a book on direct messaging, particularly for LinkedIn, but it could be used for any of the platforms, the online platforms. And one of the funnels that I teach is just that, like, you have to ask for permission to be able to send somebody a link or a PDF, or, even today, I kind of laugh because people throw up in my inbox.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
All of them, Instagram, Twitter, everything. Right? And so we don't want to do that.
No, and I'll speak to that for just 1 second to piggyback on that. I must have had 20 of the same messages on Instagram, Facebook, and in my email. And they were all like, what's your biggest business problem? I'm like, okay, that's how you start a relationship. First of all, do you even ask me if I have a business or have a problem? So just think before you go write anything or post anything. And the question I asked myself that I thought I would share is, what I'm saying a way to create value? Is what I'm saying a way to, if it isn't, don't do it. I just wanted to piggyback on that.
Yeah. But Jen, also, the word here that we're focusing on is authentically.
That's right.
Like, look at somebody's post. Look at what they're talking about. Maybe they just had a baby. Maybe they just had a bad experience. Maybe they're on a vacation. Like, find somebody often says they want to be the person in the pink business suit standing out in the sea of gray. So find out what that pink is, what that unique value proposition, what that unicorn thing is about them, and highlight it so that you show them enough that you cared and you looked.
Beautiful.
Right? It's fabulous. So what mistakes are people making with their online communities? And this is super timely for me because I'm getting ready to launch. I have my Facebook business page. I have my personal page, and I'm live on both of those. So you guys better say hi. But I'm going to create a group, because my ultimate goal, as I just mentioned, is to move into group training, coaching, because that's the only way that you can scale efficiently, right? With 24 hours in a day. And so what mistakes are you seeing people make today?
I'm seeing cookie cutter, and this is what I mean. Oh, there's somebody else's group and it looks like this. I'll make my group look like that. Oh, there's somebody else's group and they post this, and Monday is Monday motivation and Tuesday is tips. I'll do the same thing. And so when I go to join groups, if it looks like every other group, I don't want to be in it. I really don't. So that's mistake number one, is you don't want to be a cookie cutter, and you actually want to deliver value in your group and make your group unique. That's the unicorn piece. Mm-hmm. The second thing that I see is pitching people all over who aren't your audience. Join your group, join your group. Being transparent. I had a group of about 14,000 people a few years ago, not doing it right. I just took everybody in the group, and then I realized none of these people were people I wanted to actually have community with. So I shut the group down. When I started Heart-repreneurs with Terri Levine, I look at every single profile. I don't take anybody until I'm sure, like, would I want a relationship with that person? So be very clear on who you want in your community, protect your community, make it an invitation community and a very special place to hang out.
And so, I mean, the number that you have right now is impressive, right? I think you said 6,500 plus or minus. How long did it take you to build? Now, you already had your brand. You already had your personal brand. You already had success. So maybe we should talk more about the average student.
Yeah,
right?
That's better.
Building their personal brand, that's launched their first coaching program. Maybe somebody that's in my shoes, right? I've built a brand. I have followers. I deliver value. Now I'm moving into that space. What would be a good benchmark to think about?
Okay.
For the group?
I'll tell you, I'll use a real client as an example. Okay. So this client family member came to me. We finally decided on his group name. We created a group banner, and he said, now what? And I said, well, first look through your Facebook friends and really ask yourself, do any of them belong? And if they do, just send them a message and say, hey, I'm just starting this. It's going to have a lot of value. Would you like an invite? So he did that. Then I said, now kind of do the same thing as you look through your other places. You know, don't assume that everyone on LinkedIn is on Facebook, because that's not true. If there's some people you're really connected with, they comment, you read their stuff, you might want to say, hey, I don't know if you're on Facebook. I'm sort of curious because I'm starting something there. And so within about, I think it was 2 weeks, 17 days, he had 100 members. And he said, oh, I only have 100 members. I said, actually, that's very, very good. Then you go to those 100 members and you let them know, we want to go to 500. When we go to 500, I'm going to do something special in the group, a free trading, a giveaway, free books for everybody, whatever it is. So please use the invite button. Don't invite just anybody. This is who we're looking for. His group went to, he almost hit the number, was 478. He was so close. And while he felt down, I'm like, that's not down. That's an awesome amount of growth. Those are my top two things. I will tell you, when you get 1,000 people in a group on Facebook, Facebook organically starts to recommend your group. So it's pretty easy to go from 1,000.
That's the magic number.
Yes, okay. That's the magic.
And so also, well, we can. I want to stay on track because I'm asking me questions instead of let's see, audience, if you guys have any questions. The next question that I had asked for you is, why don't most community members seem to feel connected? So that's a very good question, right? About I'm in three unpaid groups and one paid group where I truly do feel connected. People have helped me out. I asked them to try some of my automation. They've come on to do live shows with me. They refer clients to me. That is what I would call a community, because I would give the same to them. But tell me about why some people wouldn't feel connected, and how do you create that connection?
Good question. So I think the first thing is, people come into a group and they're used to being in groups. Some people are in a lot of groups and they're just kind of lurkers initially, in my experience. So you need to have what I call group hosts. And these are people that welcome them. Like, hey, Catherine, we just saw that you joined the group. We'd love to learn a little bit about you and your business. I encourage the members to actually do a video. I have a sample video and say, your turn, you do a video. If they don't do a video, one of the members or one of my hosts typically reaches out to them and say, hey, well, you're in the group. Don't hang in the back. We want to know who you are. We can't connect with you. We can't even do business with you. We can't help you and you can't help us. Step up and really be in the community. So we bring a lot of people who normally wouldn't talk in other groups. I've seen them in other groups and they're lurkers and they start to talk. The second thing that I'll say that I do is once in a while, I tag the quiet people. So let's say I ask a question in the group or have a poll or there's a video I really want people to see. I will sometimes tag people. I'll tag maybe 8 or 10 people who've been quiet and I'll ask them to show up. So that really, really works. And I've done that quite a bit. So those are 2 ways. So I have a feeling that we might have lost Catherine with her weak internet. I'll keep going. Hopefully she'll be back. Her internet was very weak in Mexico. So you can establish communities today. You know, one of the big advantages is you can establish a community online. And how do you do it? Like if you go and you look at Heart-repreneurs with Terri Levine, the Facebook group Heart-repreneurs with Terri Levine, you will see that every single Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, I go in there and I actually give a webinar. I mean, I give away top training that normally I would charge for. And then in the files section, I give away my life's work. People go in the file section and they download everything they can possibly download, and they take advantage of freebies, and I'm constantly putting more value in there. So you can establish really amazing communities and really help people feel engaged. The other thing, since Catherine's not back, I'll keep talking with you. You can deeply connect with your audience. And so how do you do that? You do that through sharing transparently your own stories. I tell people all the time how I was a failure, complete failure in my first business. I didn't know what the heck I was doing, and I turned it around. So tell stories to your audience, share a little bit of you. They want to know who you are. Teach, ask, get to know the people in the group. Be interested versus interesting. It's not about me. It's not called Terri Levine. It's called Heart-repreneurs with Terri Levine, meaning all the other members are Heart-repreneurs, and I'm in there too. So you deeply connect with your audience by asking, what do they want to learn? What do they want to know? Teaching them, engaging with them, and then taking an interest in them and truly getting to know them. And again, that's how you build relationships every single day. I also want to touch on this term that I use called reverse marketing. Everything I teach is about reverse marketing. Most coaches, consultants, speakers, trainers, authors, hey, is she back? Yeah, she's back. Awesome. I just kept going without you. So I was starting to talk about reverse marketing because I covered a whole bunch of stuff while you were gone.
I had to make my phone a hotspot to come back onto the internet. So we're here, and I'm sorry about that, but I mentioned it could happen. So
it happened. It's all good. So do you want me to continue? I just started reverse marketing.
Yes, let's talk about that.
All right, awesome, great. I'm so glad you're back. So most coaches, consultants, I don't care what you do, speaker, trainer, author, doesn't really matter. Entrepreneurs spend most of their time doing what I call hunting for clients. Where can I find someone? I'll try this platform. I'll post over here. I'll comment here. Oh, I'll email people. Oh, I'll go to a networking event. I'll join another networking group. And I don't do business that way. And actually, after my first business where I realized that was wrong, I've done reverse marketing ever since. So here's reverse marketing.
I love that. So yeah, that sounds great. I'm going to take notes while you talk.
All right, enjoy this. All I do is I create value. I show up like I'm here with Catherine and I say, oh, let me create value. I do about 20 podcasts a month for various people. I do television shows. I write articles for 4 magazines. I send out emails that are valuable. I go into my Facebook group. I do a training every single week. I give away value, content, blogs, you name it. Value, 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 my best stuff, free, free, free. We talked about modern coaching method. That is like a pinnacle, free, free, free. So what happens? People get to taste test you. They try you on. If they don't like you, they're gone. Here's how reverse marketing works. I wake up every single day to leads. I don't look for them. They come to me. They come through my website. They come through my automated webinars. They download my books. They sign up for one of my lists. They email us. They message us. They call us. And they basically say, how do I get to work with Terri? Or how do I get the company involved? That's reverse marketing. Let them raise their hands. Don't go seeking them out. So thanks for letting me make that teaching point.
I love that. And I sign up for the same thing, which is once again why the two of us have been brought, right? Because I have this show, I give value, I go on shows, I give value. I've even had people, message me and inbound that said, I implemented what you taught for free and have a 30% increase in my responses. And I was like, I need that as a testimony.
Oh yeah, heck yeah, that's a big one. That's great.
Yeah, and so it is. And so let me talk just a minute about people that are afraid to over deliver, right? You hear give the what but not the how. What's your opinion on that, on showing up and delivering and talking about the same things over and over and over again, right? What are your thoughts on over delivering?
So I actually strongly disagree with that. I am willing to give away my best stuff, my life's work, whatever it is that you want. I'm an open book. You can have it. I'm not going to keep it a secret and hide it. I just don't think that's right. It doesn't even feel ethical. If you go to implement it, that's a whole nother thing. If I can teach you everything I know, and my experience is when people go to implement it, they're like, what? And that's when they reach back out, reverse marketing. And if they want, they ask for help. And if not, if they were figured it out or don't want to do it, cool. So I don't keep anything a secret, and I don't resonate with that. Personally, it doesn't feel authentic, transparent, or in integrity.
Yeah, I would agree as well. And also, if somebody can figure it out, right? If they have enough information and the wherewithal, when they have success, they're going to want to be one of your biggest champions, right? They'll say, "Oh, I
think we're losing Catherine again. See if she's there. Stand by." All right, yeah, I'll keep going. They will be your biggest champion. There's not a doubt about it. When you give away content, and let's say the person doesn't engage in your products or services, and you've given away content and the content is extremely high value, let's say they implement it, here she comes, then they are going to be a big fan of yours. They're going to be a big fan of yours, and they're going to thank you. There you are. So I was just 100%, in line with what you said, Catherine, like 100%, like even if they don't work with you, hire you, buy from you, they're going to be a raving fan. And that's what we want. We want advocates. Okay, I think you're frozen again. All right. I'm going to keep rolling. So I just want to make a couple points that I made earlier. I want to repeat them. If you think of the word Heart-repreneur, it's branded word to Heart-repreneur LLC. Everything that we're really talking about here is authenticity, integrity, and transparency. And so why wouldn't you give away your best stuff? I just wanted to make that point.
Yeah, that's great. All right, so let's go on because we might need to cut a little short since I'm having so many internet issues today.
Gotcha.
What is now I've heard of Heart-repreneur, right? This is Heart-repreneur.
Yeah.
What is that? Have you discussed that while I'm popping in and out?
Just a tiny bit. I'll finish it. You're fine. So it's Heart-repreneur, branded, trademarked my company, and it really stands for doing business heart to heart, the way we've been teaching, disrupting the way people are doing it, authenticity, integrity, transparency. Those are the three magic words to remember.
That's beautiful. And so the last point that I wanted to cover that I had here was how can revenue be consistently generated through that community? So we talked about building the community and going live and delivering value. When do you start to make that call to action to actually monetize a group?
Great question. And that's what people do too soon. That's like building a friendship with someone and instantly saying, hey, can I borrow $100,000 from you? So don't do it too soon because that's not the way to do it. So here's how I do it. You start to host events in your community. Once you have 100 people, you start to host some events in the community, free. And every fourth post, it is formulaic and it works, and I have 6,000 clients doing it. So it's a formula and I'm giving it away. Okay. Every value post, fourth post, have people do a hand raise. Hey, does anybody want to come to the webinar I'm doing on modern coaching method? Say modern coaching method in the comments. Would anybody like a copy of this new special report I'm putting together? Say special report in the comments. Would anybody be interested? I just opened a spot to work with me privately. Say me. Every fourth post is an action item. Because your other posts have so much value, no one cares. And by the way, when you go into my group, I kind of tell you, hey, look, this is all about value and helping. However, it is my group. And I am going to make offers once in a while. If you don't resonate with that, you may leave. You don't have to look at the offers or say yes, I will. So that's how I recommend doing it, Catherine.
That's great. Every fourth. I tend to wait in other platforms and like do number 8 or 9. And that, I think that might be from a confidence standpoint more than.
Me too. Step it up.
I got to step it up. All right. So we're going to wrap today, you guys, and this has all been recorded so I can piece it together and I'll make it evergreen on all of the platforms. I'm going to drop, Terri, the link of the book that we mentioned into the chat here.
Great. And the book is available. You can download it on your e-reader, The Conversion Equation, or you can actually order the hard copy and it'll be shipped to you, I think, the end of August. And it goes into a lot more detail on this topic and case studies as well.
Okay, that's beautiful. So any last minute tips, mentions, you can find Terri on Facebook primary, right? And then Shin, which is where we connected. And her group coaching is available, her book is available, her website is available. You can find lots of information. Any other tidbits that we can, when does the new group coaching start?
So the new group coaching will start July 22nd. July 22nd. Yes.
So what's the new program? And what's the last day to sign up for that?
July 21st.
Okay.
Great question. The last thing I'll leave people with is definitely, well, obviously register for the Modern Coaching Method. It's moderncoachingmethod.com. Catherine has it there. You'll get a ton of value. And drop into the Facebook group, Heart-repreneurs with Terri Levine. Watch what I do and model it. At the same time, you'll be able to learn.
That's great, right? Teach the teacher. Let's all have success. Let's have wonderful goals. Let's reach them. Let's have the mindset to make it. And don't forget to start your day with this new acronym of GID. That takeaway for today and everything else. So thank you so much, Terri, for connecting with me, for understanding my internet. You know, there's 2 routers in this house plus my cell phone. So I just made it happen. Just, you know, guys will and roll with the technical issues. But you guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the Art of Inspired Selling. I bring the guests on the show 1:00 p.m. Pacific time, because that's my home base time, where we provide value to you and we give you teachable moments that you can implement today in your business so that you don't just survive, you thrive. And that's what we're all about. So thanks again. We will see you on the next episode of the Art of Inspired Selling. And so hold on one second, Terri. Thanks, you guys.